to talk real quick about bees swarming, and especially if you live in Japan or even other places in the world. The textbook information about swarming, it says it's spring, early to late spring. The fact is that's not correct, and I just caught a swarm in Japan on August 5th, which means that what's happening is that there isn't enough flower material out there, right, for them to get big enough to swarm. Another factor could be the size of the original hive. So if the hive is bigger, then it can get bigger before they swarm, right? So two things impact swarming: the amount of food and the size of their habitat. Obviously, like I said, if the habitat's big, then it can take longer for the bees to build up. If there is enough food, it can take longer for the bees to build up because of the lack of food. So swarming, I'd given up on catching swarms. That is not the case. I think swarms can happen pretty much any time right now, from my understanding, up through August in Japan. If you're living around, like me, around a lot of rice fields, as you can see here, then ultimately there isn't a lot of flowers out here for the bees as they traditionally had. So they can't get the food they need. The other thing right now, it's really important to try to find bees and move them from agricultural areas because of the amount of pesticides they use. So moving bees to cities, moving bees to areas where there's hills or away from the city away from the rural Japan is so important. So here's beautiful Japanese, the land of the rising sun, right? Japan, the reason for the name, a little side note, is Japan is pretty much one of the first countries, the time zone, right? So it catches, the idea is that this is where the sun rises. You look towards the rising sun and you can see you're looking towards Japan. So that's it. I'm headed now to check my eel traps and to pick some chicken food, feed the chickens. So and check on the bees. I have new Japanese bees. I put them into a hive. I'm actually innovating. The hive that I'm using is I've created kind of a combo hive. It was more by accident than anything else. It wasn't planned. It turned out that my queening hives fit inside the combo hives. So the idea is that when you catch them, you just move the entire lot into it, and once they start to split, you can actually move the queening hive out, right, the bait hive, to create more bees. Split the colony, split the colony when they get too big. So that's the idea.